Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
All right, it is 11:02, the morning of Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. Dusty with you. Huss is going to be in right away as well. If you're watching over on YouTube this morning, hammer the thumbs up for us. I haven't even done that yet myself. Let's give it a little thumbsy up there. I'm number 12. That's great. If you've not yet subbed to Edmonton Sports Talk, we're closing in on 9,000 subs. We would love to have you as well. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart, or at edmontonsportstalk.com. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. We will have another keyword for the $100,000 hole-in-one presented by Golf Town, and then we'll get a qualifier for that VIP table draw for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival as well. But let's bring in Huss from Winnipeg Sports Talk. Joins us today. Huss, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Although we've got our big Gold Eyes night tonight, and we picked the one garbage day.
Garbage
day. It's not that bad, but I mean, it's not like it was in Alberta. We don't have a frost warning. It wasn't snowing anywhere. But it's not ideal. It's going to be gorgeous later on in the week, though. And let me just take a quick look at, Friday it says cloudy, but 26.
Yeah, we're supposed to get some heat a little bit later on in the week here as well. So that's nice. It's nice to hear. It's 13 degrees here today. It's not great.
Yeah, no, we're looking at a high of about 15 today with some showers, but as long as the rain holds off, we should be good. In fact, actually, now that I think about it, with you coming in Thursday afternoon, we might need to pick you up and get down to the ballpark Thursday night if you don't have any extravagant plans.
Do they play Thursday night too? I'll have to let you know. I'll have to let you know if I have plans or what's going on. Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
awesome food at our ballpark too. I would love to get your takes on some of the things that they're cranking out down at Blue Cross.
Man, if you're gonna roll out a ballpark like for a non-Major League Baseball team, baseball in general, but you got to change the game with the food, right? I know you've had some items pop up on Twitter that I'm like, wow, that's impressive stuff.
Well, they've got an awesome barbecue joint there. So, like, the barbecue bowl is always a favorite, or, like, the sandwiches. But, yeah, like, they got pierogies. They got a butter chicken place. They've got a noodle spot. Now there's a bagel place with, like, bagel sandwiches. You got pizza. You got hot dogs. You got special hot dogs. It's even regardless, actually, the team's playing a lot better too. I mean, the games are really fun. It's right on the river, Human Rights Museum in the background. It's listen, if you do get to Winnipeg in the summer and it's a nice day, full endorsement for the Gold Eyes experience. So yeah, see what your busy schedule will allow, and if that's the case, we'll come and grab you. It's not too far away from where you're staying either, so which is
that's kind of nice. I see Matt in the nasty chat says, Huss, are you picking up Krispy Kreme on the way to the Gold Eye game?
Yeah, that's big news today.
Okay, what is this?
Peg. So
you what?
Know Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh, buddy, I know Krispy Kreme donuts. Yes, of course. You guys have one?
Yeah, as of today. Of today, we do, and I think it's like a free donut day. They actually had a bunch of the media go in last week, and everyone got to see everything made. And Drew Mandel from Illegal Curve, he's still getting dragged for this. He walked out. He posted a picture of him walking out with two, essentially the sort of bags you'd look like if you went grocery shopping. Just full of donuts. And the rest of the IC guys have been dragging him big time for that. But he stands by his decision to go there and be with all the donuts.
This is going to sound weird, and anybody watching in Edmonton or listening here on Edmonton Sports Talk can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even know if we have a Krispy Kreme in Edmonton. Like, the odd time I'll see Krispy Kremes pop up at, like, Save on Foods with a soccer team that's doing a fundraiser, and I'll usually get a dozen to take home to the family. But I'm trying to think right now if we have a Krispy Kreme in this city, and I'm not sure if we do. Well, we must. There's 1 million people who live here. There's got to be a Krispy Kreme in Edmonton. Somebody let me know. Let's go.
I'm looking right now. Oh, here it is. Edmonton is getting its first Krispy Kreme store this year.
Okay. I knew I would know it. I knew I'd know if we had a Krispy Kreme here.
Let's see if they have. They're targeting an opening date in 2024. So Yeah, at the beginning of the year they had 14 locations in Ontario, Quebec, and BC, and now they are kind of hitting the prairies and the rest of Western Canada. So, yeah, we just got the first one. I listen. I'm happy. I'm happy that Krispy Kreme is here. I guess. I mean, I'm obviously a supporter. I'm far more concerned. I'm far more concerned with us getting Arby's back.
You guys don't have a single Arby's in all of Winnipeg?
We did for a long time.
Wow.
They dropped off over the course of a few years. And then there was one final remaining Arby's at a mall up on the northeast side of the city. And they did a massive renovation of the food court. And when it came back, Arby's wasn't there. I did get tipped off that was happening. And if you wanted to get in on your Arby's, you better get it before that it's gone. But I'm sitting here, and for the last couple of years, I'm like, how in the world do we have an NHL hockey team but no Arby's? It just didn't make sense to me. So anyways,
I guess you haven't had a classic roast beef sandwich in years.
No.
Oh my God.
I mean, listen, I make a point of popping in, like when I'm going to a Chiefs game or somewhere like in the States. They've got Chick-fil-A in Grand Forks and Fargo now, which is amazing. So I can always get my Chick-fil-A, which is my favorite, and that there are a few Canadian Chick-fil-A's. That will be coming.
It's coming to Edmonton. We're getting one here in Edmonton. It's coming to the West Edmonton Mall, I think.
Oh my God, that is the best. As a kid, I spent a lot of time in Florida. That's where my grandparents and half of our family lived. And I would go down there in the summers, and like very early on, before it exploded, there was one at the mall we were always at, and I would literally get it each and every time. I have been a lifer for Chick-fil-A, but listen, the beef and cheddar is right up there. And like for some reason, Arby's gets slagged.
I love Arby's. I love it.
By people that don't know what they're talking about,
Yeah.
or just general haters. I mean,
Yeah, uneducated people.
exactly.
Slag Arby's. That's the bottom line. I mean, outside of that, it's just like a lot of other places are sort of just the same. Arby's is unique, man. Arby's is providing you with shaved meats. It's my sister worked at an Arby's once. When like the Arby's in Cranbrook, that was her first job. She worked at Arby's, and she hated it. She would cry having to go to work. She was like 16, and she's just like, I don't want to have to go to work. And I'm sitting there being like, I was working at Save On because my parents got me a job at Save On Food, so I was like forced to work there. I was like, I would die to be working at Arby's right now. Like, how are you complaining about this? It was ridiculous.
Do they still have an Arby's in Cranbrook?
Oh yeah. They still got an Arby's in Cranbrook. Yeah, we hit it.
Still
like,
there.
Basically, every time we go back, we hit the Arby's in Cranbrook. My parents love it. We love it. The kids, Tam doesn't let the kids eat a lot of fast food, but when we're in Cranbrook, we get to go to Arby's. So it's pretty exciting.
How many Arby's are there in Edmonton? Multiple?
Well, I mean, I know my my two that I go to. There's one on the West End here, and then there's one up by Pro-Am Sports. I mean, there's got to be, I think there's one still over on like 50th. I don't know. There's got to be 4 or 5 Arby's in Edmonton.
Four.
So okay,
There's 4.
yeah. Geez, that's but we have 1 million people here, man. We should have 8 to 10 Arby's. We just should. There should be one Arby's per 100,000 people. That's how I view it.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So we should be not getting 1, but another 7 or 8.
Yeah,
like right now. But there's actually, if you go outside of that little perimeter of Edmonton, there's actually 7.
Okay.
Because they've got one up in St. Albert. There's one in Sherwood Park.
Yep.
And then there's one. What's this spot out more west?
Spruce Grove.
Yeah, Spruce Grove. So there you have it. And then it's 4 inside. So I don't really know what to tell you as to why we lost our Arby's. I have a feeling it was probably something to do with either franchisees or management, because I don't think they're all company store run. But things are looking up. We've got a Krispy Kreme. The Arby's is just about built. Jets have their assistant coaches. Everything other than the Bombers, who are 0-2 right now. That is freaking people out. By the way, speaking of the Bombers, just a little plug for later on today on WST. Spent the morning with Lapo, Coach Paul
no way.
Lapolis. And by the way, you know what? Here's another plug. For those of you that are CFL fans or just football fans that want to be able to learn the game a little bit more, go over to YouTube, search Paul Lapolis, and Lapo's got his own YouTube channel now with some really interesting breakdowns. He just did a video evaluating every one of Drew Brown's throws from week one. Well, week one for Ottawa, week two. He's got a video for Bomber fans will be interested in on the Montreal defense from week number one. But I love being able to watch coaches break down film. I think just as a fan, it makes you a more intelligent viewer. And I think it also tells you kind of what to look for on specific plays as to, you know, kind of why things are happening, why teams are choosing to do what they do. So anyways, we got a great conversation with Lapo coming up. But for all of you YouTubers out there, people that are watching us on YouTube, go over to the Paul Lapolis link and give our pal Lapo a sub. He got to get him in the booth with you one of these days. I'd love to see. Have you done a game with
no
Lapo?
way. I haven't done a game with Lapo. I think he did like 3 or 4 games last year. I've got almost like 100% of my games this year with suits. So I think I do one with Dwayne, and I think the rest of them are all with Glenn for the whole year. I know they're working Lapo in on some sidelines too, which is good.
Well,
I think he's on the sideline again this week too.
Yeah, he is. He's pulling the stick. I'm like, that's not Claire Hanna.
Yeah, what's going on here?
That's Paul Lapolis.
By God, that's Lapo's music. This is amazing. It was. Yeah, go ahead.
But coaches, they love guys. They love athletes that can play a number of different positions. He's bringing that to the broadcasting game. You want to put him in the booth? No problem. You want to put him on the panel? Gotcha. Sideline? Don't worry about it. Paul Lapolis playing multiple positions for TSN this year.
All right, a couple of things I want to get to. Let's just quickly stay in the CFL because I do want to talk. I saw Rod Z over there talk about tailgating a little bit. I want to talk about tailgating in the Canadian Football League for a second. I want to get to that. I'm just looking at the lines right now for CFL Week 3 and some movement that we've seen. The Riders were a 3.5 point favorite. They're now a 2.5 point favorite. Elks Argos 6. That's kind of stayed where it was. The Bombers. Weren't the Bombers 1.5?
The Bombers were 1.5 point favorites.
They're now 2. They're now 2 point favorites. The line moving towards the Bombers there, and then the Alouettes are 6.5 point favorites at home against Ottawa. Huss, can you explain to me why the line would be moving in favor of Winnipeg here? Classic 0-2, a team that's been good for a long time, like find a way to get it done here?
I guess. I mean, it's the only... Dalton Schoen missed practice yesterday. I mean, it's not like, Brady Oliveira's back and Kenny Lawler might play. I mean, it's actually the opposite right now. So I don't really know what to tell you other than I still think that by the time we get to this game, that game will be closer to a pick'em than it is a 2 point spread right now. But yeah, I mean, it is that that is not what I mean. We said right off the bat yesterday when we were looking at the lines, I kind of expected this one to be closer to a pick'em, and 2 point favorites for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Well, hopefully the Sharps know what's up. The people that are betting in and early and moving that line to 2, hopefully they know what they're doing because I don't want to have to go against the Bombers again for the 3rd straight week against the spread and be right.
Yeah.
So, I'm 2-0 picking Bomber games this year. Unfortunately, I've gone on the other side with the underdogs, who've been getting big points, but they won both of those games. Anything else that changed? What was the Elks Argo number yesterday?
I'm pretty sure it stayed where it was. It was either 6, maybe 6.5, but it's still sitting at 6. So that one hasn't changed. The Riders have gone. They've moved a full point. They were 3.5 point favorites yesterday when we looked at these lines, and now they're just 2.5 point favorites. So that one's changed a little bit as well. You know what I do love in that game? I like that over 50.5. And then Bo and Trevor Harris have both been absolutely slinging that thing so far this season. But yeah, no, on the tailgate front, Huss, it's funny because I was tweeting about it. Like the Edmonton Elks tailgate is getting better and better. It's getting bigger and bigger. They had to move it to a different parking lot this year so that they could expand it a little bit. Edmonton Sports Talk, we have a stall at the tailgate for the Elks, which is good. YouTube Trev and Zacticum kind of manned the stall. They were there for this last game. That was tough because there was the weather was horrible, but we're getting a tent made up and a flag and everything. So we'll have an Edmonton Sports Talk tailgate there. That's a good tailgate. Calgary's got a great tailgate. BC's there's no room to tailgate in BC, but my God, the pregame festivities they've got going outside of BC Place are outstanding as well. The Riders have their fan zone. I wish the Riders would just open up that parking lot to tailgating right outside Mosaic. That would be unreal. And then there's the Winnipeg tailgate that I always drive by, but I've never had a chance to kind of stop in and check out. But I have to tell you, man, that when you're driving towards the stadium, I know it's on both sides, but that left parking lot looks like it's humming along pretty good there in Winnipeg. Tailgating it's strong and it is growing in the CFL.
Oh, yeah. Listen, since the Bombers moved to the university, I think we were all worried that it was going to be very, very strictly. I don't know what the liquor laws are like where you're at, but I mean, technically.
You're not supposed to have open liquor, but people are just drinking it out of cups. I mean, this is how it works.
Yeah, out of cups, exactly. Or if you've got a can, you can get a koozie right there. There you go. Always have a koozie. By the way,
there you go.
You know what you need to do?
Where the hell did you get that Coolbet koozie from? Oh, Winnipeg Sports Talk, co-branded. Brilliant. I love it. We should put that on the list for the golf tournament. That looks great.
Just came in time for the ball game tonight.
Oh, my God. Those are awesome.
Hot off the presses. But I'll tell you what, from a little guerrilla marketing standpoint, Dusty, you guys need to get a couple thousand koozies. And
that's a good idea, man.
Trev
koozie
and Zacticum, when they're down there at the tailgate, say, come by EST and grab a koozie to keep your cold one warm and then rock it throughout the summer.
I think that's a brilliant idea, buddy. Absolutely brilliant idea.
No one ever regretted having a koozie on them, ever, at any point. Oh, damn, why did I bring this?
Why am I carrying this koozie? It's such a problem. Right,
I mean, it if it's super hot, it's huge. Even if it's kind of chilly, it's nice to have, on your brain. So, anyways, there's my YouTube guys new media marketing tip.
Yeah,
koozie.
Show me that koozie one more time. That looks real nice. I want to see that again.
All right, so there's the
WST. Boom, Coolbet. Perfect, man. That's well done.
And yes, and that's a perfect segue in. If you are going to Bomber games this year, including Friday, look for myself or Connor Rabchak. We'll probably have 50 or 60 on, and they're going to go to Bomber fans. And shout out again to our good friends at Coolbet.
Great move. Yeah,
we put a few things together. I knew the guys would love it, so we're going to be doing those Coolbet WST koozies at all of the Bomber games. We're giving them out to everyone that got a ticket tonight for the baseball game as well. And just some other events. I mean, think of how happy you are if you're ever a thing and people are, it's hot out and say, hey, you want a koozie? Yeah. I mean, you're a hero. You're a hero. So those guys can be heroes. You guys can get on that.
We're gonna do that. I'm gonna say we're gonna do that. Yeah. But tailgate's good. I hope I mentioned Calgary. Did I mention Calgary? Calgary's got a great freaking tailgate as well. It's really well done. They're set up 3 hours there prior, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. So so as I said, at the start, I think people were sort of worried that, the university police or whatever were going to be going around and, giving out tickets and stuff. Technically, I don't think you're allowed to do some of the things that are taking place, but I will give the powers that be at the Winnipeg Football Club and everyone around realizing that if you don't act like a jerk or do stupid things, you'll be able to have a great time. And that basically is what had happened. There's a small college across from the stadium, St. Andrew's College, all part of the U of M campus, but it is technically private property. They do their own thing. So very early on, you could buy a parking pass, and it was more expensive. It was like $200 or $250 for the year. Half of it comes back as a tax donation, but they've got a retired police officer that mans the area, taking care of cars and stuff. If there's any BS going on, they take care of it right away. And it's like legit people that are really into tailgating, like, doing different themes every game, with different foods and that sort of thing, having a bunch. My folks still park there. But you've got about probably 3 or 4 different lots in and around the stadium that usually fill up with people well before the game. So you saw that one on the other side of the stadium there by the soccer complex. That one is banging. The U lot as well. But on the other side of the street, like right beside the rink and right by where we were talking about in that St. Andrews, I mean, you'll have, especially on nice days, I mean, people setting up there 3 hours before the game.
Beautiful.
And just having a hell of a time. And listen, if you're going to these games, that's the whole reason how I fell in love and became a Chiefs fan. I went down there in the late 90s for a Moose game, a Moose weekend, and we got tickets to the Chiefs. So we did the hockey on Friday and Saturday, and we went to the football game, and we met these guys at the hockey game that said, well, listen, if you guys are going to the game, we got to show you how we do it in KC. Meet us at G29 at 8:30 in the morning. We're like, 8:30 in the morning? What? Oh, yeah. You got to get there early. And, dude, I swear to God, we're sitting there, we're eating brats, they're frying stuff in a fryer, crushing a bunch of beers, and by 10 o'clock, 10:30 for a noon kickoff, I'm standing in the parking lot of Arrowhead looking right at it and can barely see it because of all the grill smoke coming up from everywhere. And Arrowhead's unique because there are no, I mean, if you're familiar with it, there's Arrowhead and then there's the K, the baseball stadium, all beside each other on this massive parking lot. I don't know how many acres it is, but there is no restaurants, there is no bars, there's absolutely nothing. So because of where those stadiums are, it essentially forced fans to create this tailgating culture that they have. And I'll put it up against anywhere. I mean, there's lots of people that'll go, they'll just tailgate all game and don't even go to the game, which is a little wild.
That's wild, yeah. What a commitment.
Fun. So to see the CFL be able to, I mean, ask anyone that goes to one of those games, the tailgate is as big a part of the event and the day as the game itself. So it's nothing but a positive for the CFL to see more and more of this growing. And as I say, maybe we'll do a lock shop contest later on this year for people to fire off their best tailgating picks or setups, and we'll do a Coolbet prize or something like that. We do like to support good times and tailgating here on the Lock Shop.
Couple of things to get to. Then we're going to spend the second half of the show, obviously getting into this game tonight, Oilers and the Panthers. The Celtics end up, as we suggested yesterday on the Lock Shop, the Celtics end up rolling in Game 5, get themselves an NBA championship in which they were the best team in the regular season, and then went 16-3 in the playoffs. 4-1, 4-1, 4-0, 4-1. Huss, truly a dominant performance. And I'm sitting here going, do I need to give them more love? Then I look at kind of who they went through, and I'm like, well, maybe not. But they were extremely well-built basketball team. But a 16-3 run in the postseason, buddy, is worth remembering. That's a hell of a job, no matter who you're playing, because they're playoff teams.
And think of the games they lost. They sleptwalked through a home game against the Miami Heat in game.
Yeah, remember we're like classic Celtics. Yeah.
Yeah. They did the exact same thing against the Cavs in round 2. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Game 4 of the finals was the first road game they lost in the entire playoffs. And it seemed like they just didn't show up for the game thinking that, it'll be more fun to party back in Boston if we can win it at home. And then they went and took care of it. Listen, I'm not a fan of the Celtics, and I've been against them most of this year. I'm very disappointed that we didn't get the Nuggets series. I really wanted to see that, but the Nuggets weren't able to win, and the T-Wolves weren't able to get past the map. So, listen, it's not Boston's fault who played. Blame the teams that choked or lost before that didn't get a chance to go at them. But it was no contest in these series. I mean, they never went to a 6th game in this entire playoff run. So I'm not sure they'll get the credit that they probably deserve. Also because, I mean, listen, with all due respect to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who really are Tatum for sure, like top 10, pushing top 5 players in the league. I don't know. To me, they just maybe don't have that star power that a LeBron or a Curry,
Steph,
or
Jokic,
even an Ant now in Minnesota has, just with the popularity of them. But listen, the one thing I did think that maybe, considering the streak that I had been on outside of the Canadian Football League last week, that I was maybe going to mush the Mavericks into a game 6 by betting the Celtics last night -7. But they kept the foot on the gas. It is over. And now we look forward to next season and tonight. By the way, just for those of you that are into this, I always love the day after a championship is won to check the futures for the following year. So here, let me ask you this.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet.
Celtics are the favorite. Celtics are the favorite.
All right.
Plus 325. For next season,
okay,
who do you think is the next shortest odds?
I'd still go Denver.
Denver's third. They're 8-1.
Minnesota
is actually 6th at 12-1.
OKC
is 4th at plus 950.
Well, Dallas isn't going to be number 2.
It is.
Really?
And that's recency bias.
Yeah,
sure.
I think so. Like, I would, going into next season, man, I would rather bet on the Nuggets than the Mavs to come out of the West.
Yeah, so it's Boston at 325, Dallas 6-1, the Nuggets 8-1, OKC plus 950, the Bucks 10-1.
Yeah, healthy Giannis, yeah.
T-Wolves 12, the Knicks 16, the Sixers 16, the Clippers 20-1, the Lakers 22-1.
Sprinkle.
Along with Golden State and along with Phoenix. Memphis at 25, the Heat 35, Pacers 45, Cleveland 45. A group at 66-1, including the Magic, Sacramento Kings, and the Pelicans. The Spurs, I'm still waiting for the Raptors to show up on this. The Spurs are 80-1, Hawks 100-1, Chicago Bulls 125-1, and then the Raptors 200-1.
Don't like their chances.
I don't like their chances either. Charlotte Hornets and Houston Rockets both at 200. But this is what you don't get in the National Hockey League. Like, you never get, like, the longest shot on the board was probably 75-1 in hockey. 200-1 for those teams. 300-1 for the Brooklyn Nets and the Utah Jazz. Man, that experiment in Brooklyn with KD and Harden already.
And it left them pretty bleak. It did.
No picks for 4 or 5 years, and they're 300-1. The Jazz have 1 million picks? 500-1 then for the Wizards, the Pistons, and the Portland Trail
Oh my
Blazers.
God, 500-1. My God. Did you was it the Lakers, the Warriors, and the Suns all rate 1, 2, 3 together?
Yes.
Yeah. I just, in my mind, when you said that, I said those 3 teams are just going to merge all their superpowers. And it's going to be LeBron and AD and KD and Steph. And they're going to take one more run at it as like the grumpy old men in the NBA.
Well, hey, is LeBron for sure back with the Lakers?
Well, he's into free agency, but he'll be coming back to the Lakers, I think.
Well, why hasn't he re-upped?
Well, he's probably playing it out to see what ends up happening with the coach. So,
well, or is he waiting to see what happens with his
Well,
kid?
I mean, I think there's that threat of let's see what happens with Bron. I mean, he could be. He can kind of do whatever he wants in that situation. So we'll see.
Like, what if the Utah Jazz take Bronny?
No chance. I mean, you might love your son, but you're not going to play for the Jazz right now if you're LeBron James. Mind you, that would be interesting. That's 2 worlds colliding for me because I was a Utah Jazz fan until Malone and Stockton retired and LeBron came into the league. So that'd be something. That'd be interesting.
I mean, hear me out here. I mean, a team like that and like Utah, from the Donovan Mitchell trade and the trades, I don't have it in front of me, but I think they're like OKC, like the amount
of picks,
that they have is crazy. So if all of a sudden you got LeBron James, you're wanting to push things forward, some of that draft capital could probably be used to surround him with a couple other players. You sign a couple free agents. Like, I don't.
Yeah, here's what the Jazz have for picks. I just looked it up. They've got 2 first-rounders this year and a second, 2 first-rounders next year, 2 first-rounders in 2026, 4 first-rounders in 2027, 2 first-rounders in 2028, and 4 first-rounders in 2029.
You think that might be able to get you a couple good players?
I mean, probably with the way teams move picks. But yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of picks that they've accumulated too. Yeah, you see what's happening with OKC, obviously, as well, moving away from some guys and loading up on some picks too. Hey, before we get in, let's get to this game 5. I'm going to do a key word here for the Golf Town $100,000 hole-in-one. You see Landon Donovan's hair, Huss?
Okay, I did see it. And normally I would be the first guy piling on and taking a bunch of shots online. But I mean, is that not obviously some sort of medical procedure?
Well, he said there was a text exchange, and he said he got transplants, and he was told that you wouldn't be able to notice it in time. But obviously you still noticed it.
Okay.
So that's like self-inflicted transplant there. So.
All right. Okay. Then full green light. Full green light. I was just worried that either, he had been getting radiation or chemo, or they had to do some sort of operation. Like, it looked like they just shaved that area. Okay. That is unequivocally one of the most ridiculous haircut pictures of somebody on television.
Yeah.
How do they not tell him to wear a hat?
Okay, that's a good point. He could have just wore you're right. He could have just wore a hat. I didn't even think I was going to say, just tell him, hey man, you're off today. Don't worry about it. We'll find somebody else. That's a tough look. That's a tough look right there. Yeah. All-time bad. We broke it down this morning on our show. If you haven't seen it yet, just hop online and search Landon Donovan hair. But I hope it works. I hope by the next Euro, he's just got this voluptuous head of hair, and he's like, transplants work. Look at me now. But that one's going to live forever. That's going to live forever. I mean, that's...
Can you imagine, Dusty, you're in TV. Imagine showing up for... this is the Euro. This, as far as what they're doing soccer-wise, this would be the biggest event that their team does all year. So let's call it Grey Cup Week.
Yeah.
And you show up for Grey Cup Week for all this stuff that you have to do for TSN with that. Like, what would PG have to say?
I wouldn't be going on camera, man. Like, I don't even I love having a beard. I think I look better with a beard. I don't even just and I've got a decent beard when it comes in. I won't even go on TV with my beard. I shave it all off. I'm like, oh, you got to look fine. I can't imagine rolling in with
Strap Awareness Month is in March.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's why it's when we know there won't be any CFL football. Like, I can't imagine rolling in with what he was rolling. And I said with Rick today, I said, why is he even wasting his time with the transplants? He looks like he's got a nice shaped head. Like, I think he'd be an okay looking bald dude. So yeah. I don't know, man. Like, it's
those soccer stars. He's not ready to make that move.
Yeah.
And take it to the wood and just join the club.
Unbelievable. All right, hey, let's get to the Golf Town $100,000 hole-in-one with Edmonton Sports Talk, presented by Golf Town. Our summer savings right now. This sale ends June 19th. That's tomorrow. Today's June 18th. Save up to 40% on top brand golf shoes, Nike, FootJoy, Adidas, Under Armour, and more. And also this week, one of the deals that they got, buy one, get one free on Strixon inline golf balls, limit of 8 dozen per customer. But you can get those right now at Golf Town as well. All you have to do is text this word to the inbox at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Text it in. YouTube Trev will grab one of you, and you will end up having a 1-in-4 shot at winning a swing at $100,000 tomorrow morning on the Nielsen Show. The key word on the lock shop today is Fitzpatrick, as in Matty Fitzpatrick. All right, Fitzpatrick. 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 Text Fitzpatrick right now to 780-218-9999. That's Fitzpatrick to 780-218-9999. And one of you will end up with a 1-in-4 shot at a swing for $100,000 with Edmonton Sports Talk and Golf Town. The key word on the Nielson show this morning, Huss, Finau, as in Tony Finau, your boy. Your boy. Mentioned you when we said that. But the key word right now, Fitzpatrick.
Unfortunately, just bringing up Fitzpatrick triggers me and reminds me of the 79 that he shot on Saturday. It was a tough run. By the way, speaking of just our Coolbet boys, got to give a shout out to Pendy. How about Taylor Pendrith?
Man.
The T16, 3 over par, great tournament. And I'm going to give a shout out to Corey Connors, my pal Derek Ingram, who's from Winnipeg, Corey Connors' coach. CC, with his 9th place finish in the U.S. Open, leapfrogged Adam Hadwin and will join Nick Taylor, born in Winnipeg, as the Canadian Olympic golf team moving forward. So, and listen, both of those guys should be there. I'll tell you what, Pendy, I think, helped him out big time for the President's Cup team. And again, Pendrith played in the last President's Cup, so he has some experience as well. But certainly amongst the Canadians, like, I don't know when we get to. I just booked my flight yesterday to get out there for the event. I think that we could, with Mike Weir as the captain, the top 6 have already been named. Nick Taylor's one of the top 6. And of the captain's picks, without any live guys being eligible, like, I think we'll see Hadwin, I think we'll see Pendrith, and I think we'll see Connors. So we could have 3. And I'll tell you what, with the year that Svensson's had, speaking of Coolbet guys, I think he's going to be in the mix as well. So they've got another few tournaments to sort of convince Mike that they are good to go. But it's going to be a great event for Canadian golf in Montreal at the end of September. But I really am looking forward to the Olympic golf. I think back to it 4 years ago when Xander won his gold medal. And it did have the feeling of, I know it's not a major because, there's only so many players in it, but such a unique event once a year, so prestigious. The Olympic golf would be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait till the betting lines come out for that.
That'll be good to see for sure. Fitzpatrick, one more time, your keyword for the $100,000 hole-in-one with Golf Town. Big Uke, Nathan Uchaz over on the Nasty Chat on YouTube says, the only play for me tonight is a dry settle anytime goal. Let's go Oilers. I've sent the boys the EST parlay. Hopefully they'll be able to get it up. I've got Oilers money line, Hyman goal, and a Bouchard point tonight. Hyman goal, Bouchard point, Oilers money line tonight for the EST parlay. When it is up and it is ready, it will be in the exclusives page over at Coolbet.com. And if you've not yet signed up for an account at Coolbet, you can do so. Go to Coolbet.com and then enter the code LOCKSHOP when you do, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on initial deposit up to $200.
Hey, just before we get into this hockey game tonight, there's some great comments in the chat on YouTube. Rod Z, the Calgary tailgate partying's a blast, full of great food and enjoy great football. Also, their group at the Elks game Turf District.
Turf District.
I was talking about the trip to Kansas City. Sobkirk says, and then Hustler was in the car with the wolf driving away from the bank. Yes, Chiefsaholic. There's a 30 for 30 coming out on Chiefsaholic, or like a Netflix documentary or something. That's going to be wild. He's in jail for a long time. You can't rob banks, folks. Please don't go down that route. And then Abbott's Key said Chiefs tailgate last October was the best live game day I've ever experienced. And I'm a Rams fan. And listen, I think there's a lot of people that go there. And again, this is at a time where the Chiefs were not particularly good. They did have Trent Green. They had a couple competitive teams at that time, but they were still kind of in that tier below, had some really, really rough years. And then obviously since Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes got to town, it's been taken up. But the one thing you can count on, whether the team's 15-2 or 2-15, that people will be rocking at Arrowhead beforehand. And if you have the opportunity to get to a game there, take it.
All right, let's get into Game 5 between the Oilers and the Florida Panthers tonight. We had Darren Dreger on this morning. He said an NHL coach, he wasn't going to name him, but he said this is going to be the biggest challenge of Maurice's career right now to make sure that the Oilers don't carry that momentum from Game 4 into Game 5. I know you mentioned Maurice a little bit. I mean, seems like a pretty cool customer with the media so far through this Stanley Cup Final. But, I mean, if the Florida Panthers, I know it's just Game 5, but you got to have a feeling deep down inside here that you got to win Game 5 or else you're going to be pushing all your cards in a Game 7 at home.
Listen, what the Oilers did in Game 4, I think has to let the Panthers know that this series is far from over, and they're going to have to come out with their best game to kill this team and Connor McDavid. I so want the Oilers to win this game. I mean, just as a hockey fan without any skin in the game, I want to see this series get back to Edmonton. I want to see what that crowd, what that city will be like.
Oh, man.
If there's a game on Friday night heading into the weekend, Game 6 of the Cup Final, Florida's going to be ready, but I think of what the Oilers have been through all year long, Dusty, how they picked themselves up off the mat over and over again. And what happens after they break a losing streak? We talked about it yesterday. They go on a bit of a run. Now, none of those runs were against the Florida Panthers night after night after night at this point in the year. But if you're an Oiler fan right now, you absolutely should have a good amount of hope and optimism that they can find a way to win this game. I heard the guys on Overdrive yesterday talking about it with Struddy. And Odog thinks that the Oilers have to go in there and be ready to play as if they're going to win a 1-0 game. And I thought it was an interesting comment. And I got back to thinking what happened when they were facing elimination against the Vancouver Canucks two rounds ago. I mean, the team went from that high-flying Oilers team that would score at will to, first of all, taking care of their own end, supporting their goaltender, and making the most of their chances. And we remember what happened. I'm kind of with that. I certainly think that for the Oilers to win, the under would be.
You think that's the play? Yeah.
Listen, if the Oilers can go in and pop 4 or 5, great. I'm not sure that that's going to be there for them. So I think that they're going to have to do everything. Getting the first goal will be huge.
That would be huge. We talked about that this morning. If they can come out and get one through Bobrovsky in the first 5 minutes, I think that goes a long way more so than just a regular first goal, in a different game.
Well, and to be honest, I think the same way, the longer they can go with keeping Florida off the board, it is going to be massive. I mean, if this gets to a 1-1 or 2-2 game in the third period, I mean, I think it's going to be anything can happen. Flip a coin. I mean, this is playoff hockey, a bounce here, a bounce there, but can change everything. But to your point, I mean, if they can get on the scoreboard first and remember how good they were when they were playing for their playoff lives against Vancouver in that series, against a very good Canuck team that can score goals. If they can replicate that tonight, I think they can get this back. And to be honest, they really do deserve it. This series should be 2-2 right now. It is not. And I think they got to make up for letting one get away in game number 1. They didn't deserve to win game number 2, but it's not like Florida has just been so much better than Edmonton. They're fortunate to even be in the series right now. I would say Florida's fortunate to have a 2-game lead right now in the series. And sometimes that water comes to the mean. So I'm actually pretty high on the Oilers' chances to go in and make something happen, especially considering the guys that are leading the way. And maybe most importantly, getting past McDavid and past Draisaitl, you have to have confidence building in Stuart Skinner after the performance that he played. And listen, I know it's an 8-1 game. He doesn't make that save on Verhaeghe.
Yeah.
We might not even be talking about a series right now. That goes in and it's 2-2.
Well, and then you've blown a 2-0 lead and you're already like, oh boy, here they go again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was if the Oilers get back into this series,
that's the moment.
That could be the moment that kept them in. Not one of the 8 goals, a save.
100% agree. I 100% agree on that because, they got the goals after that. But if Florida eliminates the 2-0 deficit that quickly in that spot, yeah, I would agree. If this thing goes 7 and the Oilers somehow pull off this miraculous comeback, highly unlikely. We get it. I think it's 7-1 right now over at Coolbet if you want to get with them.
Yeah.
Which is why I said this morning. Well, we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, I would agree with you. I think that save by Skinner in the first period of Game 4 would be the turning point of the series. Huss, if you're going to bet on the Oilers tonight at plus 113 on the money line, why not get on them just to win the series? Because if they win tonight, I think the moment they're going to win Game 6 at home. I just don't see how they come home and lay a dud. So then you're looking at them going into Game 7. You can get them right now at 7-1 to win the series, or just take them at plus 113 to win the game tonight.
Well, listen, I think I don't think a win tonight guarantees a trip back to Florida. I mean, every game is going to be difficult, and to be honest, if the Oilers can get this back, there's building pressure. And listen, it's tough to win 1 game against a team like that. Never mind 2, 3, and subsequently 4. I'll tell you what. I mean, McDavid already has had a historic postseason. Like, and again, this is getting way ahead of ourselves, but think about what a comeback in this series and the Oilers winning the Cup would do to his legacy. I mean, he already is amongst the all-time greats, but if he's able to do that, I mean, we're talking about one of the greatest playoff runs of all time. It already is statistically.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he's beat a Gretzky record.
Yeah. Anytime a Gretzky record falls nowadays, I'm like, how in the hell did that happen? It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, and the other thing, and I don't see it up right now, but after Bob got lit up and after McDavid broke that record, I think there's a good chance, even if the Panthers win the Cup final, that McDavid gets the Conn Smythe.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. If they won tonight to stay alive, if it gets to 6 or 7, I think there are some votes coming in for Connor McDavid no matter what. I do, especially if he's great tonight.
Florida, I think the Florida votes will be kind of split. Like, Bob was so good at the start of this series that going into Game 4, it was sort of his to lose. Well, he got lit up and got yanked, and at the same time, McDavid broke the record. So, Kachuk's in. Kachuk isn't really in there. Barkov is the other guy.
Yeah, Barkov and Bobrovsky. Those would be the two.
And there's only one for Edmonton, and it's Connor McDavid. And I mean, I think a lot of the voters, a lot of the media guys really like McDavid. I mean, they follow him. He's great for the league. It would be good. So I know we said at the start of the series, if you like the Oilers to win, you're probably better off just betting McDavid to win the Conn Smythe. That might be a prudent bet because it can actually still win if the team loses. And the odds for McDavid to win were greater than it was for the Oilers to win the Cup. So it's gonna be
the only skater to win the Conn Smythe, because we know goalies have done it. Hextall did it. J.S. Jaguar did it. Reggie Leach won it in 1976. Scored 19 goals in the playoffs that year, which was a record at the time. I think it still is. And he ended up winning it, even though the Habs swept his Philadelphia Flyers. So that's the only other time it's happened for a skater to actually win the Conn Smythe with his team not winning. If this thing gets to 6 or if it gets to 7 and McDavid is lights out in the next 3 games, I could see it being a close vote.
Well, and look at the similarities. Leach on a losing team in the Cup final, broke an all-time record.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid, in the finals, breaking an all-time record in the playoffs. He's got to get consideration. And because of that, I am taking McDavid to score tonight, plus 138 over at our friends at Coolbet. I mean, listen, I could definitely see the Panthers winning this game. I could also see Edmonton. I mean, I'm just really interested to see how it all plays out. The one thing that I know is that we're going to see the best in 97 He's going to be doing everything he can to will his team to victory. And I think that means he gets a little bit more active shooting. And that's why I like Connor McDavid plus 138 to score.
What's coming up on Winnipeg Sports Talk today, buddy?
Well, we got a great chat with Lapo, Coach Paul Lapalisse, as I mentioned, fellow YouTuber, Paul Lapalisse.
I love it.
And
Lapo's such a good dude, man. He's just amazing.
Oh, man, we had a great time with him today. And then we got Mike McIntyre jumping on with us. And Morgan Klimchuk. If you remember Morgan, former first-round pick of the Flames in 2013, has just joined the Moose as their new assistant coach. So we're going to talk to him about transitioning from playing to coaching and the opportunity here in the Peg with Moose and True North. And obviously, we're going to be talking about the game tonight and getting ready for a baseball night tonight. Hopefully, this wind will die down. We get a bit better evening when the crew gets out there for those beautiful koozies. Shout out to Coolbet and to WST.
Have a good show, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks,
There
buddy.
you go. That is Huss, Winnipeg Sports Talk. Absolute beauty. Can't believe they don't have an Arby's in Winnipeg, man. I'd move. That's it. I'd move. Smitty the Welder says, Connor is only 9 points behind Gretzky for the most playoff points. Connor breaks it, and the Welders win in 7. My God. Can you imagine that? I mean, and I'm not even going to sit here and tell you, 9 points in the next 3 playoff games would be quite something. But if anybody has ever been capable of that, it's 97 on the Edmonton Oilers right now. I can't wait for this game. We're going to continue to set it up. 2 guys in the goalie. Obviously, that's coming up here as well with myself, Cass, and Gager, presented by GS Construction on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you've not yet told your buddies about Edmonton Sports Talk, please send them the link to EST, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, or tell them to download TuneIn and iHeart and get with the times. It's 2024. And if you're watching on YouTube, hammer that thumbs up for us. Let's change 50 at least before we wrap up here. So hammer that thumbs up over on YouTube as well. We do have a spot into the draw for the VIP table for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. And we'll give you a chance to get in on that right now. Friday night, sold-out show. Shane Gillis, Andrew Schultz, we gave away a VIP table to that. Kevin Hart on Saturday, we gave away a VIP table to that. And now we are taking qualifiers for our final Sunday VIP table. Bert Kreitzer and Whitney Cummings. This is an all-time lineup. When was the last time a group of comedians that were this hot right now rolled through Edmonton with this level of show? This is pretty impressive. So Kreitzer and Whitney Cummings on Sunday night. If you'd like to get in the draw for a spot in that at that VIP table where Alley Cat is the presenting beer sponsor of the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, exclusive beer, 6 o'clocker lager is going to be in the house. What a time to be alive. It's going to be a great event. If you want to get in on that right now, just text in Alley Cat. Text Alley Cat right now to 780-218-9999. Alley Cat, 780-218-9999. One of you will be contacted by Maddie or YouTube Trev, and you will go into the draw for the VIP table, Sunday night show, Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. That is happening right here in Edmonton. Let me just see if I can get a quick update on some of the tickets that would still be available for this show. Here's the Edmonton show. So, yeah, Gillis and Schultz completely sold out Friday, July 12th. I think I'm actually in Winnipeg that night. What do we got here? For the Saturday night show, limited quantity of VIP reserved. Pre-sale sold out. Early bird sold out. And it's last call. There's a limited quality of last call tickets still available. And then for this Sunday show with Kreitzer and Cummings that we're doing the VIP table for right now, limited quantity available for the VIP. Early bird sold out. Last call, limited quantity as well. So, yeah, these things are moving quickly. GreatOutdoorsComedyFestival.com for more information over there. Or you can text Alley Cat right now to 780-218-9999. 2 guys and a goalie. Coming up right here, EST Parlay, hopefully be posted early afternoon. You can go find it, exclusive section at coolbet.com. And it should be Oilers money line, Bouchard point, Hyman with a goal tonight, and hopefully they can force a Game 6. We'll continue to set up Game 5 here on EST. If you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Small dose of Whale and the Wolf, and then 2 guys in goal with myself and former NHLers Matt Cassidy and Joaquin Gage, presented by GS Construction. If you're watching on YouTube, turn on autoplay, and I'll take you right on over to 2 guys and a goalie. Thank you very much for joining us in the Lock Shop today. Best of luck with all of your bets tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.